So, hello everybody. As you can tell, I'm basically having a lazy day, and that's basically how the day was. Today, I finished up watching pretty much every best Oscar nominee movie out there. And, well, yeah, it was fun. And, well, given the fact that there are two movies on, in the Best Picture nominee list that are about the same event, I figured it's best to do a double review. What movies are you talking about, you might be asking? I'm talking about the movie Darkest Hour, starring Gary Oldman, and Dunkirk, directed by Christopher Nolan. And well, let's hop into it. Darkest Hour follows Darkest Hour follows Winston Churchill, played by Gary Oldman, who is dealing with, becoming the Prime Minister of Great Britain. And he is tasked with going ahead and trying to get all these soldiers off of the beach of Dunkirk out in France before they are killed by German invading forces. And well, the politicians there are against him. He has to galvanize the people, and he has to deal with a daunting task. And this is all about his character's struggles and the emotional problems that comes with it. So, the first positive I have is that I like the story. The story is very interesting. For a history buff, this is a very interesting and very, very just intriguing story. This story feels very real, given the fact that it was real, and it takes place during World War II. It feels very real. It feels like you're set in the moment, and Gary Oldman's performance is absolutely phenomenal as Winston Churchill. For those who don't know, Winston Churchill was the Prime Minister of Great Britain after the year of 1939, and he led Great Britain through World War II. And Gary Oldman sells his performance to a T. Everybody in this movie does a great job with their performances. The story is really good, but I do have one tiny problem with the movie, and that is the movie is very boring at times. The movie is very talkative. We don't necessarily get a visual of what's happening. We always hear a lot of talking, a whole lot of basically, in other words, it feels like a book. A movie that uses words to tell a story rather than visuals, which in my opinion, a movie is visual storytelling, whereas a book is basically written out storytelling. And, well, this movie feels very written out, feels very scripted, even though it feels spontaneous. You can tell that this is all written monologues and all that stuff, and, I mean, it got pretty boring. But that's my main complaint with the movie, just a bit too boring at times. And well, we're going to keep this review short because of a good story, good performances, but not so great pacing, the fact that it's boring. I'm going to go ahead and give Darkest Hour a 7.5 out of 10. Okay, now on to Dunkirk, directed by Christopher Nolan. This is another masterpiece in his impressive filmography. From Memento to The Prestige to Batman Begins to The Dark Knight to The Dark Knight Rises to Inception to Interstellar. Oh my god. Another one? Another one that he made that was really good. Okay, I give up. This guy is fantastic, and I don't know what else to say. So, with this movie, it's about the Battle of Dunkirk, where, once again, British soldiers are stranded on this island, and it's about them trying to get off of not on this island, on this beach, my bad. Stranded on this beach, and it's about them trying to get off the beach before the German forces that are invading France come in and take over the beach, killing them or imprisoning them. And this is more or less visual storytelling, because in this movie there is hardly a single word uttered throughout the entire movie. Sure, we get a couple lines from a couple people, but that's the thing, this movie is not like that at all. Well, what do I like about this movie? First of all, the main thing I like is the narrative. The narrative is very... Unless you're paying close attention, this narrative is confusing. But with me, I was paying close attention. I started to connect the dots. We get three different points of views in this movie. We get a point of view from the soldiers who are on the beach. We get a point of view of one of the boats who is coming to go ahead and rescue the soldiers. And we get the point of view of a pilot who's fighting enemy planes to go to Dunkirk. And well, all of them take place during different points in time in the story, and they end up all connecting, and I liked that. the performances in this movie are also very good, especially a standout with Harry Styles. Yes, the One Direction Harry Styles. He does a great job in this movie, as do most of the other actors. Another thing I really like is the score in this movie. The score is very, very intense and very, very suspenseful. It's just a rising tone throughout the entire movie, with the tension building up until it finally pays off. And the final thing I want to talk about that I really, really liked was the directional style. Christopher Nolan is once again proving that he is the best director working in Hollywood right now, because his movies are consistently great and fantastic. And with this movie, it does not disappoint. This movie is filled with plenty of great sweeping wide shots of just everybody stranded on this beach. And not only that, the way that it feels, the fact that it's so intense, and the fact that it's about the event. This movie is about Dunkirk, the event. That's why it's called Dunkirk. See, a lot of people don't realize this about war movies. But some war movies name their movies after an event, even though it's not about the event, it's about a person in the event. For example, Pearl Harbor and Hacksaw Ridge. Hacksaw Ridge being a great movie, Pearl Harbor, well, that's another story. And, well, with this movie, I'm happy that they called it Dunkirk, because this is about the event. And this movie is totally about the event, given the fact that characters are not necessarily focused on. And I really like that because it's gritty and realistic. So at the end of the day, I'm going to go ahead and give Dunkirk... What else can I give it? I'm going to give Dunkirk a 10 out of 10. So there we go. We just looked over the movies Darkest Hour and Dunkirk, which are both about the Battle of Dunkirk, and we got the political side, and we also got the ground force military side. And, well, as you can tell, I like Dunkirk more. I believe Dunkirk is a better movie. But when it comes down to the Oscars, I guarantee they're going to give it to Darkest Hour because of the fact drama, political, you get the idea. So, whatever. I hope you guys had a great time watching the video. I hope you guys have a great day, evening, night, whatever the heck time you're watching this, and I will see you next time.